So my name is Yogita Patil. I work for the tech marketing team at VMware, and I'm currently taking care of Tanzu Insights. Like Rachna mentioned, this is part of the optimized pillar under Tanzu Intelligence Services. What Tanzu Insights brings to you is AI/ML-based insights for contextual troubleshooting of your applications. So let me quickly get right into it as to what Tanzu Insights is all about. Tanzu Insights is basically using events and alerts from multiple sources, be it Azure, be it AWS, be it Kubernetes, or be it VMware ARIA operations for applications, also known as Bayfront, or VMware ARIA operations for logs, which is Log Insight, which you might know it as. What it does is it takes events and alerts, which are also called as observations, and these get into the insights engine where all the events and alerts coming from these multiple sources are deduplicated. They are summarized and correlated with each other, giving you, probable root cause for the issues that you're seeing in your environment to generate insights that kind of give you visibility into your environment. So if you look at Insights, the basic use case for Tanzu Insights is to reduce your alert noise, to reduce information coming in from multiple sources that you can deduplicate, normalize, and give you intelligent, normal English language information about what issues you're seeing in your environment. So it'll help you visualize your applications, giving you a holistic view of how it affects your bottom line, which means it could be affecting your applications, your services that could be, affecting your bottom line dollars. It also gives you observations based on different layers of your infrastructure, whether it's application, platform, or your infrastructure components. It helps you resolve your issues faster by collating information from multiple sources to ensure your SLOs and reduce your mean time to resolution. So you saw this earlier when it was demoed by Justin in the Tanzu Hub environment, where your Kubernetes environment can get very complicated very quickly. So to give you a quick view of where the problem lies in your environment, that is something that Insights can do quickly by showing you the impacted applications, impacted services in your different environment. So whether it is a Kubernetes problem where it affects, a particular node, a particular pod, a particular application, or some services, or whether it is an entire application that is broken, providing you different red metrics, which is your request errors and duration, or even showing you what is the impact of your broken application mean to your environment, whether it means your application is completely down, whether it means a service is down, or whether it is simply, an application that is kind of slow or being less responsive. So let's quickly, before I quickly dive into the demo, one last slide where you can, scan this QR code to get on to the Tanzu Hub free tier with Tanzu Insights to help you get a feel for what Tanzu Insights is all about, see how it works out for you, even help us shape the product for the future. We just GA'd this product early on in the month, so this product is really, really new. So you can, use this to gain visibility into your workloads, help you, with your performance metrics and your service map topology, and again give you, an insight into your native public cloud sources or your Kubernetes clusters. So in the interest of time, I will quickly jump right into the demo. Thank you. So like Justin mentioned, that we have multiple sources that sits into the Tanzu Hub platform. Insights is one such service along with guardrails and transformer, like you saw. So this is the landing page of Insights when you configure different sources that feed into the insights as sources, whether it is ARIA apps or ARIA operations for applications, which is Wayfront. You can have ARIA operations. We can also have information directly coming from AWS or Azure, or directly configuring the Kubernetes clusters via the Kubernetes collector. Once these sources are configured, you will start seeing events and alerts flow into your environment, into your insights environment. You can sort these insights by the criticality of the insight. You can see whether it's an active or a resolved insight, and each insight is represented in the form of a card. Now, the different pieces of information of the insight are these titles that are generated by the machine learning engine. It has the criticality and insight number and whether it is an active or resolved. It also shows you the different observations that have led to that insight, the different resources that are impacted as a result of this insight, and the sources that it has pulled in information from to create this insight for you. So if you look at this, it shows you the different sources that are impacted as a result of this insight. So if you open one of these cards, it's going to show you what this insight is about. What it takes you to the timeline view, where it shows you the different alerts that have come in over time that has led to this insight. You can even click on any one of these resources, and it shows you to the right the different pieces of information about that insight, about that object. You can see the different observations that has led to this insight, and the resource on which this observation is pointed out. You can jump to the source of that observation directly from within here, and it can even be AWS CloudWatch Console or Azure Monitor if that is the source of this observation. To the right is what we call the troubleshooting workbench, kind of similar to the troubleshooting workbench concept in ARIA operations, if you're familiar with that product. And it shows you the different alerting metrics and details about the objects that you have selected. Now, the real power of this product comes in the form of impact view, but I'll take you to a different insight to show you what the real power of insights is, where when you open an insight, if you go to the impact view, it shows you the different resources that are affected as a result of this insight. And it also shows you, it can be a service or an application. And it shows you the connections between, just like you saw in the hub, how the different pieces of your infrastructure are connected. It shows you with this topology view as to what is the impact of this insight that it has generated for you. If you see the description of this insight, it even gives you a quick summary of what the insight is about and a potential cause where it's pulling in this information from the machine learning engine based on the different observations that has led to this insight. Now, they can be one or two observations, or they can be even up to 50 to hundreds of observations that can lead to a particular insight. Okay. Just to give you a quick view of another insight to show you the different observations. So if you see this insight is pulling information from AWS, VMware ARIA apps, and it shows you that this is pulling in information directly from your Kubernetes cluster as well as ARIA apps. So what that means is that you can see here, my previous example did not have sources, the insights that was collecting information from multiple sources. So that's the reason for me to pull this one up here for you. If you look at this one, if you click at this, it shows you that this insight is being generated as a result of information coming in from multiple sources. It is affecting more than one resource, and 5 different observations have led to the creation of this insight. So this is a quick summary of what Insights is all about. And if there are any questions, then me and Kyron, who's on the call here today, can take it for you.
I have one question. What is the Tanzu Intelligent Agent?
Yeah, we all saw that. Click on the assist button. Do it. We want to see it in action.
I think you mean Tanzu Intelligent Assist.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Sorry.
No agent.
Yeah.
Tanzu Intelligent Assist. What is Tanzu?
Yeah.
And then furthermore, at the top, what the heck is ARIA apps?
ARIA apps.
Yeah.
ARIA apps is VMware ARIA operations for applications, also known as Wavefront.
So
So
ARIA app,
It's formerly Tanzu Observability.
It's
this
branding
product
difficult.
has gone through a few names, so that's the shortened name for it. It's basically
yeah, some of the product naming is
Yeah, so Wavefront became Wavefront by VMware, which became Tanzu Observability, which became ARIA Applications for Operations.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So back to Intelligent Assist.
So going back to Intelligent Assist, this is the
I can try to answer, but basically it's similar to a chatbot that would allow you to query and interrogate insights and other parts of the platform.
Where's data processing and data retention for all of your information? I presume, obviously, there's some stuff that's sort of Hugging Face level locality, and then there's some stuff that's metadata that has to live in the SaaS. Just curious on, what data is passing back and forth as we interact with an AI assistant.
It's the same data that's available in the Insights UI. The same data is available that's in scope for the chatbot, essentially. The chatbot's interrogating the same set of APIs and so on that's available from the UI, the regular UI that Yogita showed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's the same interface, same data locality.
Yeah, and we have something called
Exactly.
VMware Private AI. So basically, every customer has their own instance. So it's not like you're seeing other customers' information feeding into this LLM.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And that's, I think, the goal around my question about what that was, because when we deal with all of the different platforms that this is and all of the platforms that it was coming up to what it is now, there was a certain lift that you had to have a better understanding of how to do these types of things. And I think this demo is fantastic, showing how to do it. But if there's a way to grease the skids to become more operationally viable, that's something that I think a lot of people would love to hear more about.
Yeah, I think
right. But to answer the question, the scope of the data is the tenant that you're currently accessing. And then the second piece of it is we actually are working with the team. This is more a platform capability. And as the product management person for Insights, we're working with that team to make sure that we want to essentially provide another way for a user to query the data and help them query the data. For example, show me the critical insights that happened in the last 24 hours related to Kubernetes and so on. And then they can get the scope for that response and then click on something and then interact with the UI. And then maybe they can pare down and all right, now show me the last 2 hours and so on.
Is it view-only information, or is there a way to interact with it in action?
It is, you can interact with it as is shown here. You could click on a link, which will take you to the insight. Then you have full scope for that insight for you to interact with it.
I'm sorry, I'm incredibly excited about the fact of what it just did. Yeah, I think that's super cool. So,
and so learning additional training that occurs based on patterns that have happened in your environment would likely be helpful to you. How much additional learning is going on around general operations? And if we do stuff, if we suppress logs, are you capturing that and kind of using Bayesian inference to say, we're less likely to show this because they seem to keep suppressing it? Is there a way that we are influencing operations by how we interact with this?
Oh, that's a really good question. So for Insights in general, what we're doing, there's a few different things that's in work here. We're using Gen AI to generate the title and description of the insights, which is quite interesting because it's collapsed and taking the information from the insight, which has text in it. And then we're also using that information to say, all right, we have a crash loopback failure for Kubernetes. What would be the potential fixes and root cause of that? So we can present that to the user. But to answer your question in terms of learning, at the moment, the learning, and this kind of goes back to the previous question again, now we have to be very careful with customer data, but what we want to, and any customer that data that we're learning based on would only be available for that customer's environment. But we are trying to train our training models based on patterns of failures that we're seeing within these environments. So there's a machine learning model out there, or a priori model, which is really what's the sequence of things that happen. A follows, B follows A, and C follows B, and so on. So what are those patterns that we can learn? And what we're doing is we're reinforcing the patterns that we learn with things like the dimensions of space that something happens in. So, for example, things that fail typically fail in and around the same time. Things that fail typically fail that's related to other things that are connected to it. So those are ways that we can reinforce the model to make sure what we're presenting is the right set of things. But back to your original question, currently no, but we are currently no in terms of the things, the actions that I take. Does it influence the model? Not today, but definitely something in the future, because there's lots of different ways that we could do it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, moving things around, taking actions, and so on.
Yeah, basically moving temperature on it, and that helps to get better.
Hey, could I suggest we take these questions offline and we continue with, there's one more session to go and we are running up against the clock.